Hey everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tackle Marks Point. This Friday's fishing report from the shop. And I did mention that last Friday with just the unpredictability of weather. Potential, they tell us, of an east coast low forming off the coast. It's already starting to rain and the wind along the coastline here just starting to build. We were trying to get down onto the water this morning, but it just wasn't going to happen. Look guys, there's a lot of indecisiveness, I suppose, with these east coast lows. If you look at the weather forecast for tomorrow morning, southerly winds only around about 10 or 12 knots, 100% chance of rain. But again, we could wake up in the morning and it could be blowing 30, so you're just going to have to play it safe. I don't believe offshore or rock fishing is really the go. If you're really hardened, I think you've got to sort of stay out in the estuary, possibly in the channel. There's quite a few brim and flathead being caught. A lot of tailor in the lake, and we've been talking about that now for a couple of months. But this week there was some great catches of tailor. Areas such as Coal Point over to Fishing Point, a lot of fish, 40s up to 50s. There was some beautiful fish in Belmont Bay yesterday morning, fish up to around about 52 centimetres. So some big fish moving around with these schools. A lot of brim in on the flats as well. It's really going to be interesting to see what happens with these brim after the possibility of what they're talking about, maybe in excess of 200 mil of rain between now and Tuesday. There's a big spike in the swell happening Sunday. It's supposed to pick up to possibly 5 metres. Now that may be seaward, but definitely we're going to see some big swells along the coast. For the guys that got out last weekend and took some notice of what we talked about, some great catches of snapper out on the farm, in particular farm, right the way through to the Texas. So some beautiful fish caught and some bag limit catches of beautiful reds. Not big fish up to around about that sort of 2.5 kilo mark, but a lot of fish, 45s, those kilo or better fish that you just look at them and they're straight into the box. So some great snapper out there, and there was some really nice fish on these inshore reefs. Again, on the back of this big weather system, we've got to look a little bit more forward and think about next weekend, and hopefully that weather starts to abate through the middle of the week and we can have a bit of a look at what we can do, because there's a lot of snapper getting caught coastal. I know a few of the boys travelled up to Crowdy Head there and fished late yesterday afternoon and caught some great fish. I know Billy Gray, Ryan Faulkner up that way, some beautiful nice reds up on that mid-north coast area. So this is what the opportunity is when you've got can get out there and have a bit of a look. A few guys did go to the shelf last weekend and have a look for a yellowfin. Look, there was a bit of a bite in the middle of the week this week down off Sydney. Again, there was some YouTube footage of yellowfin busting up out of the water. Some nice fish. I would have thought they were probably around about that 30, 35 kilo mark. But it was great to see. Water temp off our part of the coast, unfortunately, still hovering in and around that 21 to 22 degree mark, and there's still a little bit of current out past that 1,000 fathom line. Surprisingly enough, there's quite a few dolphin fish still out in there, and no doubt there could be a striped marlin. An example of that was, of course, one of the local boats last week, the Walking Boys, got a big tiger shark off the coast, 464 kilo fish. That's a fantastic fish. And that just indicates how warm the water is coastally, and I think that's what's going to attribute to a lot of our rainfall, this really warm coastal water. On the beaches, it had been looking well, but again, we're not going to be sure what's going to happen after this big swell comes through. No doubt, a lot of fish are not going to tolerate that, and they're going to come in. So those areas like Salts Bay and Lucy's Breakwater will produce a lot of brim and trevally, but there will be a lot of luderick, obviously, in and around that Lucy's Breakwater area, and no doubt a lot will come into Newcastle Harbour. Again, when there's unpredictability, we've got some big tides. Of course, tonight, high tide around about 10:30. Now, those tides are going to continue the next few nights up and around that 1.7 metre mark into the latter part of the night, getting towards midnight. So if we do get a lot of rain and big seas, we could have a few problems on some of our low-lying areas, particularly Swansea and Pelican and the like down this way. So you're just going to have to play it safe, hunker down a little bit, and just be careful. Let's hope that next weekend it starts to come together. Obviously, this week's Fisherman's Warehouse Fish of the Week winner is Dave Hutton, and Dave had his opportunity to get out and start to do some trolling. So Dave's just been experimenting, bought himself a beautiful boat, has been going down the back of the lake and coming into us basically and getting some advice on what to do. And he wasn't aware that you could troll for tailor. And obviously get a flathead as the bycatch. So he's been picking some beautiful tailor up, and of course, last week he got 2 big flathead, and the biggest one went 82 centimetres. So that's the bycatch associated when you're catching tailor. Some of these very big flathead, and there's quite a few guys out there now who troll just for flathead. So the bycatch associated with your tails, no doubt your flathead, and of course mulloway. In and around about that 5 to 6 metre mark is what I would prefer to troll for flathead. So bit of a bonus if you're going to get out there and have a bit of a look, and hopefully next week it sort of presents itself as a better opportunity. On a personal note, I'd like to sort of say a sad farewell to the guys at Tackle Power. Obviously Gordon Borkham and certainly John. Gordon's now retired. They closed yesterday, and that's been a business, and certainly independent business, that's been there in excess of 35 years. I wish Gordon all the very best with his retirement, and certainly John with his future ventures, what he's going to do through his chartering business. Look, it's never good to see these guys go. Even Jerry down at Budgie closed yesterday as well. So look, guys, all we would love to do as independent stores is get some support. We're not going anywhere. The Fisherman's Warehouse guys, we'll be here. There's been a lot of rumours floated around about what we're doing. We're going to stick it out for a while, and we hope to be supportive of you guys. And thanks for being a follower of our YouTube footage. And let's hope that we're on the coast somewhere next week, and we're doing a great report telling you how when we can catch it. I'll see you next Friday.